Good morning. We are excited about starting Brave today. It's an adventure, to be sure. If you are starting to, this is the first week, so you've come to the right week to get this adventure started. And we're going to be looking at some bold steps, some brave steps. And I believe that we were all made for bravery. In fact, today we're going to take a look at a story from the Gospel of Luke, where Jesus really calls one of his disciples to do something out of the ordinary, and draw some parallels to what it might mean for you to do something new, to do something brave, to do something that requires a little bit of faith and trust. The main thing we're going to talk about today is getting your heading. When you are a sailor or when you're out on a ship, what you really want to do is you want to find the direction that you're trying to go, and you want to get your heading, so, and make that your heading, and then go that way. And so the first start to any journey in bravery or any adventure is to know which way you're going. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And to do this, we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to be doing these weeks here at One Church, this One Church Experience live every Sunday morning. And then another piece of this, and this is a very important piece, is to be in a group, be in a connect group. Because there you're gonna continue this journey. You're gonna continue doing this adventure. And in between, then we have something on an app. If you go download either from the Google Store or the App Store, the Brave app. In between the Sunday experience and your Connect Group experience, you're gonna have some individual, we'll call it, steps to take. I don't like to use homework because nobody likes homework, but this is kind of like brave steps, and it's really easy to do, but that's kind of something that will create a little bit of inclusivity and will also make it a little fun for us. So why brave? Well, because worry and fear ranks highest, really, and when we rate people, or people text in, or people we're talking to people, that's something people deal with the most: worry, anxiety, fear. And so we want to conquer bravery. In fact, top entrepreneurs say that the thing that keeps people from going after a killer idea isn't the validity of their idea, it's their bravery quotient. The thing that keeps people from this killer idea is not the validity of the idea, but the fact that, whether or not they're going to walk on it. Have you ever had time? In fact, my mom had this, right? My mom's like, you know what? I invented flat screen TVs. She's convinced she invented flat screen TVs. And because she said years and years ago, wouldn't it be good if we could put this TV on just the wall? And when it happened, she's like, there it is. The validity of her idea was good, but she never really acted on the idea, probably because she had no idea where to start in creating a flat screen TV. But have you had a moment like that where you see an idea and I thought of that before, man, they're making millions on my idea? It's not the validity of the idea, it's kind of our bravery quotient to walk out in this new idea and what's going to cost us to do that. And so for us, here today, when we talk about growth and we talk about spiritual growth, that is new. It's always new, and it's always going to have some aspect of bravery to it. Whenever we walk into something new, it requires us to be brave. And bravery isn't being fearless. We look at that image of the guy sitting on the cliff. Man, I could work my way to it, maybe, but it would scare me to death. And I'm not like deathly afraid of heights, but I just don't like the ability to fall to my death. But bravery isn't being fearless. Bravery, encompasses fear. People who go to new places aren't absent of fear, but they still move when they have fear. People who go to new places, people who act bravely, aren't absent of fear. They still move even though they have fear. We are, when we talk about taking new ground and being in new territory and starting something new, bravery is going to have to be present in our lives. And we're going to have to start new things. And new things is always scary. New things always has an element of fear to it. But we got to move anyway. I want to look at a story in the Gospel of Luke, and it's found in Luke chapter 5. And this is a story where Jesus had just finished feeding 5,000 people with 2 loaves, and fish and loaves, right? And it was just this incredible miracle. And he spent all day talking and teaching, and he wanted to go by himself for a little while. And but before that, this is what happens. It says, on one occasion, while the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, and he saw 2 boats by the lake, but the fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. Getting into one of the boats, which was Simon's, he asked him to put out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people from the boat. So he sees these 2 boats. And what you gotta understand about the lake of the Sea of Galilee, this lake of Gennesaret, is that there's a cut in the rock where wind just whips into this, causing these violent storms and causing these just things that you wouldn't see on a normal lake. It had a sea effect, and so it was something that we'll see later in our journey that Peter has to endure, and Peter has to kind of come through. But bravery happens in front of other people. Sometimes we can be brave by ourselves, but nothing really helps us out. But nothing really marks bravery than being brave in front of others. And so what we're going to be doing during this journey is being brave in front of others. That's why the group is so important. It's going to be easy. It's going to be to be in a group. It's going to be encouraging. We're going to build each other up. But this bravery happens in front of people. People notice that Jesus said, you know what, Peter, I want you to put out a little bit, and we're going to see a little bit this more, as we go on in the story. The magic is, in our small groups, that we are doing something intensive and personal, and we're doing it as a church. Whenever you start something new and you do it collectively, when you have this we're in this together mentality, it becomes something that just bonds people together and encourages you to take new ground, to start something new that you probably wouldn't on your own. In front of other people, bravery happens. I don't know if anybody of you have jumped off a cliff. Any cliff jumpers? Just, okay. Something I would never do by myself. But if there were other people there, encouraging me, maybe making fun of me, I don't know, just kind of pressuring me a little bit, I've done that. I've definitely jumped off my fair share of cliffs when people have been around. That bravery quotient went way up in front of other people rather than by myself. By myself, I'm like, nope, not smart. Let's go down to the water. Don't jump off the cliff. This is what former Navy SEAL had to say on the aspect of good ideas and what it takes to be brave. It says that the reality is that great risk takers often have a safe place to retreat to, a place of confidence and security that enables them to dare greatly. The reality is that great risk takers often have a safe place to retreat to, a place of confidence and security that enables them to dare greatly. He went on to say that children who fall from trees retreat to the arms of their parents. Adults retreat to their homes, to their spouses, to their friends, or their hobbies. What enables us to dare greatly, to take new ground, to be brave, is the fact that we have a place of security and comfort and to retreat to. And that is what groups can be. That's what our Connect groups are. A place that you can retreat to, that's comfortable, that's safe, that you can process, a place that will encourage you and build you up as you step into new ground, as you take new ground. Back to our story, Jesus had just taught and began to teach the people from the boat. In verse 4 he says, and when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, who is Peter, put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Put out into the deep and let down your nets for the catch. Two times it says that they had put out and they had pushed off. And it doesn't just happen, bravery, in front of other people. It happens with other people. And to let down your nets was kind of something in the plural. The bravest people I know are linked in team, and they do things that are new. They go out into the deep end. Remember when you were learning how to swim and you were kind of fearful of the deep end? You're kind of like, man, I don't know if I can't touch. Will these strokes that I worked on, like, will they really work? Some of us got, like, some people got taught how to swim first. Some people just got thrown in the deep end before they really knew how to swim. And, and they were kind of panicking and struggling. But, like when you realize that you know that you can do something, you realize that those fears were kind of just, they weren't too valid. They're like, oh, no, I got this. This can happen. But before, the unknown makes things a little fearful. A little fearful. The first time we go out, it freaks us out. We're not sure if something's going to happen to us. But now that we know those fears are pretty foolish, and it's likely to be the same thing as you go to the deep end in this heading during this journey. Spiritual growth will always freak you out, which is why we don't do it. Spiritual growth will always freak you out. God is calling people to do new things over and over again, and it is something that the people don't initially want to do. So not only does bravery happen in front of people, but bravery fuels the new. God's always calling people to do new things over and over again. And it's something that people don't initially want to do. Peter doesn't want to go out into the deep, to put out into the deep. Not because he's freaked out by the deep, but because he would rather not. I mean, the Bible is a book of bravery because it's a story of people who go out and put out to do things in front of other people that have never been done before, or people wouldn't self-select to do that on their own free will. If they had their own, will to do it, if they had their own idea, they just wouldn't do it. Isn't it ironic that the primary metaphor for this journey, this brave experience, is an ocean? It's ironic because in the ancient world, the ocean represented chaos. It represented evil. It represented the barrier between you and that thing that's out in front of you, that new thing, that unconquered thing. This metaphor of this open water, long distance sailing adventure is something I have zero interest in. I am not a sailor, nor do I ever want to be a sailor. It's just this open water, long distance sailing thing is not for me. The saying goes that your worst day fishing is better than your best day at work. Right? And I'll call BS on that. Have you seen Deadliest Catch? Like that's not happening. It's the worst day fishing is pretty bad. Storms can be, a little rough. It takes a form of bravery that I don't think, I have or I don't want to develop, but I do want adventure. I do want adventure. Entrepreneurs look at the unknown as an adventure, and there's a brightness in this risk that you're about to take. When you have a bright idea or a great idea or something that you're working towards, it's this risk that you just like, man, I can't wait to jump into. So Peter would rather not jump into this, would rather not put out, and not because he was fearful of the deep end or the open water, because he was an expert fisherman, just because he had been out all night trying to fish. And in verse 5, Simon answers and says, "Master, we toiled all night and we took nothing. But at your word, I will let down the nets." And when they had done this, they enclosed a large number of fish, so large that their nets were breaking. And they signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and to help them. And they came and they filled both the boats so that they began to sink. Jesus is always going to go against prevailing patterns in your life. It was a prevailing pattern that everyone else did then, that you wouldn't need bravery. You wouldn't need bravery to start something new, to go to the unknown, to conquer new things, to be bold if it was a prevailing pattern. You just find the pattern and you follow the pattern and then you succeed. But you need bravery when it's a new place. And the people who are on the shore will never applaud you pushing off into the deeper places. I just imagine not only Peter saying, "Listen, Jesus, like we've done this all night. You don't understand. Like I've done this for years. Like I know. There no fish are out there. In fact, fish, we know I'm not an expert fisherman by any means, but I do know that fish need a little wake-me-up in the early morning in the cool water, and they want a little snack late in the evening in the cool water. But at noon, when this is happening, fish aren't out. And Peter knew this, and he was like, Jesus, dude, this is not, okay. If you say so, I'll do it, but it's not going to work. It's not going to. Peter said that. I'm sure his crewmates said that. And probably the people who had just heard Jesus teach, probably like, what are these idiots doing, going out and trying to fish? People on the shore will never applaud you pushing out into deeper places of your life. The people that are looking onward are going to question your commitment to this new thing, to this brave thing. They don't get it. They don't understand it because Jesus is calling you to something new, to something better, something more, providential in your life. And any fishermen, whether they're on the Sea of Galilee or the Mississippi or the Missouri River or wherever, know that, noon isn't the time to fish. But they decided to do something new, to try something new. But at your word, I will let down the nets. Kind of Peter's kind of relent. And it goes on to say, but when Simon Peter saw the great number of fish they caught, the fact that their boats were beginning to sink because they caught so many fish, he fell down at Jesus' knees and saying, depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. For he and all who were with him were astonished at the catch of fish that they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, don't be afraid. From now on, you will be catching people. And when they had brought their boats to land, they left everything and followed him. This was Jesus' initiation into calling Peter and James and John to follow him into this new adventure, into something new. Going against the prevailing patterns, but saying, you know what, let your nets down again. I'm going to astonish you. Even though you didn't want to do it, and you did it anyway, I'm going to astonish you with the results because you took this bold step. Follow me. The thing is, not only does bravery happen in front of people, and not only does it fuel the new, but it brings breakthroughs. The openness to try something new led them to being astonished. When was the last time that you were astonished? When something blew your mind? And this isn't a passive astonishment. This, when something happens like a full, lunar eclipse, like you're dumbstruck, kind of, astonished. This one is where by faith they do something they would rather not do, and they are blown away by the results. When was the last time you were astonished like that? That you did something that you would rather not do, but you were blown away by the results. The Ansari X Prize was a space competition in which the X Prize Foundation offered a $10 million prize for the first non-government organization to launch a reusable manned spacecraft into space twice within 2 weeks. And it was modeled after early 20th century aviation prizes and aimed to spur development at low-cost space flights. And the winner of that prize, Burt Rutan, said this: the day before something is truly a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. The day before something is truly a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. It was crazy for Peter to go out there and try to catch fish. He knew it was crazy. But he did it, and it was a breakthrough. Bravery brings breakthroughs in our lives. Crazy ideas lead to breakthroughs. I love that we are a church that is brave. In fact, one of our core value expressions, one of our core value statements says that we are faith-filled, God-sized dreaming, all-in risk takers. It's incredibly risky to kind of leave your family and friends and go start a church in a brand new city. It's incredibly risky for you to place your trust in someone like me, whether you know me or not, as your pastor. One church is about taking risk. We're adopting elementary schools, even right now. We want to make a difference. We want to impact. We have visions for great impact in St. Louis, in this city. It's going to take bravery. It's going to take risk-taking. Stepping out into something new that God is calling us into. Not stupid chances, but going after God-sized dreams. And when we are seeing some personal breakthroughs in our church as well. I mean, it's awesome to hear stories of people seeing breakthroughs in their life, whether they've started this journey of faith and they've started this relationship with God, or whether they're seeing medical breakthroughs in their lives, or they're seeing business breakthroughs in their lives, or family breakthroughs in their lives. We're seeing that in this church, and I want to see more personal breakthroughs. I want to see bravery in starting new businesses that God wants to happen. I want to see bravery to lead more marriages. That leads to more marriages. I want to see bravery leading to going to counseling in marriages. I want to see bravery leading to rehab. I want to see bravery in eliminating, a private, unhealthy vice that is has oozing toxic consequences. We want to see bravery, personal breakthroughs in your life. What is that thing? What is that thing? Maybe you know it right away. Maybe it's something you have to kind of think about. What is that? What's that new place, that new ground that God is calling you to take? What is the last thing that you did that you really didn't want to do that led you to being blown away by the results? If you are normal, you can't think of many, because normal people don't do things that they're uncomfortable with. Right? You probably can't think of many, because normal people don't do things that they're uncomfortable with. Normal people don't try things that could lead to something bad. Normal people don't move when they are nervous. And normal people don't grow spiritually. Because it's about newness. It's about stepping into the unknown. It's about taking a chance on something that you feel like God is leading you in. And I guarantee you will be blown away by the results. For this to happen, we have to identify what that thing is. What is that thing? What is that heading? What is that direction that we got to put out in front of us, that we are working towards, that we're going for? We can't just walk out here and saying, I'm going to be more brave. We got to move. We got to do something. We need a process to identify where we are going to grow and where we're going to apply bravery. And that is the point. That's the point of this journey, of this adventure. That's the point of the app. It's going to help you not only get your heading, but also apply bravery in your life. This will be a key thing you do this week in the app, is declare your heading. The best way to experience this journey is online, via the app. I know if you don't have a smartphone, there's a website that you can go to that will have everything there. And if you are freaked out by computers, well, that's your first step to bravery. Try something new. The app is more immersive. You'll experience God in new ways and go to deeper levels in your journey. And there's embedded audio and there's video and other immersive ways to connect with God. And that's central to who we are at One Church. We want to help connect you to God. And this app is going to help do that. It's more responsive. Not only can you interact with your group, and we'll see how that works in a second, but you'll see how everyone in your group and your journey is doing as well, and you can cheer them on. Let's go to the deep end. Let's try something new. Let's get into a connect group. You might not have a spiritual breakthrough if you get into this connect group and do this journey. You might not. Depends on what your heading is and how hard you're going to go after it. You might not. But I tell you, you will not if you don't. You will not have a breakthrough if you aren't brave enough to try something new. So let's get the app. Let's do the individual, content and work. Let's get in a connect group. Let's be brave together. And, your heading is personal, and we're going to be here to cheer you on. We're here to help you in every aspect. Let's experience new things. Let's experience breakthrough in your life. That's something I want for each and every one of you. Let's pray.